Dr. Seuss said, "Why fit in when you were born to stand out?" I love that quote so much, and I hope it resonates with you too. I did a post recently about thinking outside the box and coloring outside the lines. Maybe that's you too. For me, for so long, I thought something was wrong with me because I do think outside the box. And suddenly I realized there's nothing wrong. There's a lot right. Thinking differently and thinking outside the box is actually a gift because we're really not meant to fit in. We're actually meant to stand out. If you think creatively or have a different approach to the way you can solve problems and maybe in more innovative ways, it's a gift. And if this feels like you, then sit back and listen in. I've got a great episode for you today. Hi, friend. Are you ready to conquer doubt and believe in the power of your voice? Confidence doesn't hide, play small, or diminish its abilities. It actually steps forward. Welcome to Step Forward with Terry Mullen. I'm a mom to 4 adults, wife of 34 years, a midlife entrepreneur, and your confidence coach who turned self-doubt into courage and confidence to speak, write my book, start my podcast, and launch my business. Now I empower other amazing women just like you to do the same. I share practical strategies to crush fear, boost confidence, and use your voice to create greater impact and income as a new entrepreneur. I have walked this path, and I'm here to empower you every step of the way. Let's step forward. I believe that many women feel like the path to success or the path to being an entrepreneur or whatever it is they're trying to do feels like a one-size-fits-all mold. We've been conditioned to believe that there's a right way to think, dress, achieve, and do. But what if your greatest strength lies within defying those expectations? What if being different or thinking differently isn't a flaw, but the very essence of who you are? With that trailblazing spirit or that entrepreneurial spirit, especially in midlife. Take a moment and just pause and think about that. Because for me, for years, I felt like the puzzle piece just wouldn't quite fit, or I was like a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. Often my ideas were questioned, I silenced my voice, and I desperately tried to conform and fit in to what others thought I should do, or what others thought just in general, thinking that my idea was wrong or my way of doing it was wrong. And in reality, I was just being shut down. I had a great idea sometimes, not always, but I had great ideas, and I thought about things differently. And maybe that's you. Maybe you were held back for your unconventional way of thinking, or criticized for that idea that you had, or told that was a dumb idea. Or maybe someone got frustrated with you when you questioned why. Why do we have to do it that way? Why can't we do it this way? Well, you're not alone. If that is you, for me, that led to incredible frustration inside. But somewhere along the way, especially lately, something shifted. Like a light bulb has gone on. I've realized that I am a trailblazer. I think differently. And rather than suppressing that or feeling like there's something wrong, I need to celebrate that something's right. And if this is you, I want you to celebrate that too. Because maybe there's been an event or something sparked inside of you, or you had a realization that you were never meant to fit in. You were actually born to stand out. This is actually something to celebrate. It's an awakening. An awakening of that entrepreneur or that trailblazer within. I was raised in an entrepreneurial family, and I was an entrepreneur earlier in my life. And then we had our children, and my husband's career became more demanding. And so we decided it would be best for me to stay home and raise our children, and I just really supported everyone, including my husband in his career, and I have no regrets. Raising our children were some of the best years of my life. But as my youngest entered high school, I decided to think about what's next for me. Who am I? What do I want to do next? I was still young enough and still had kind of ideas of things I wanted to accomplish. And so I decided to try on all the shoes, as I say. I've said this before in my podcast. But that inner entrepreneur began to awaken. And I started to try all these different things and follow the breadcrumbs and see where they led. Some things worked out. Some things I definitely didn't want to do. But when that awakening begins to happen, it really is an exhilarating feeling. And if that's you, I want you to honor that. Pause. Think about those things that you really love to do. Or maybe those things that you were good at one point and you kind of shelved them. Or maybe you still have a dream and an idea and a goal. For me, that was writing my book, which I did do at 59. But when we embrace who we are, we think about our unique way of thinking, and we approach it with courage and tenacity, and we forge ahead, it's really satisfying. And I want to empower you that there's no limitations on your age or your qualifications. If you have a dream and an idea, go for it. Defy expectations. Challenge the status quo. And realize that you're a leader, an innovator, a creator, and someone who's willing to try and step forward and be different. You're a trailblazer. And that means that you likely have a visionary mindset. You see an opportunity. You see potential, and you envision a future, one that's different than this present moment. And you have the audacity, I love that word, to step forward and pursue it. You also have disruptive thinking. You don't accept that status quo. You challenge it. You think of new ways to do something, and you solve problems in entirely new ways. You also want to create long-term impact, and that means that you want to leave a legacy for future generations. You also have fearless determination. You're not afraid to take risks. Although messy at times, and you make mistakes and you fail, you're willing to venture into uncharted territory and try. Challenges are seen as opportunities for growth, not for reasons to give up. You're also incredibly resourceful and adaptable, and that means that you can make the most out of limited resources, or even where you are at this present moment. You adapt with new strategies and ideas. You see obstacles as stepping stones, and you figure out a way to create a new path for yourself and for others. You inspire others. You're a natural leader who motivates others, and you help them believe not only in your vision, but to join you along the way so that they can step forward with their own. We have been in an age of disruption for a while, and it's moving exponentially with AI. And it's so important to embrace this forward-thinking part of you, the trailblazer, and move forward with this idea that you have to either write a book or start a podcast or start your business, whatever that is. Move forward. Don't feel stuck or confined or locked into where you are, especially as a midlife woman who has had an incredible amount of experience with everything that you've done over your lifetime. That actually is a gift. And I love following Marie Forleo. She is a multi-passionate, extremely successful entrepreneur, and her book, Everything is Figureoutable, is one of my favorites. She focuses on the strengths of being multi-passionate rather than really niching down, especially right away in the beginning. And I have found that this keeps people stuck where they are. I've seen it because you really get focused on the what instead of the who. And I know this is a very different approach and one that really speaks to me. It's very contrary to everything a lot of the other leaders and gurus teach, including those I love. But I have seen so many people just get stuck and swirl in trying to put a name on their niche and figure it out and kind of figure out their dot or their target rather than focusing on the person and who you're trying to help. The more I've focused on the what, the more I have gotten stuck, and it's made me feel like a square peg in a round hole. So I'm not afraid to step forward and to try new things. God knows I'm constantly trying new things. I'm constantly innovating and doing new approaches, and I'm definitely not afraid to do the hard work. I'm just wired differently, and maybe this is you too. And if it is, here's how I want to help you. I want you to think differently. Because when Marie Forleo talks about being multi-passionate, she really emphasizes focusing on who you are and who you can work with, rather than getting really bogged down with all the specifics of every single detail you need to start. That, again, as I said, really keeps us stuck. When we focus on who we're trying to help, it actually gives us a lot of freedom and it opens up our creativity. Understanding that person allows you to create solutions in a much different way, right? Because you get to know that person and you get to know their likes, their dislikes, their strengths, their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities, their pains, their struggles, their challenges, right? And often that person is you 5 or 10 years ago. And this is what, as we all know, Dean Graziosi talks about. And I do agree with that very much. But when you figure out who your person is, you really are able to build a genuine relationship with that person because you know who they are. You know them intimately. You know their language. You know the words they use. You're able to build trust. You're able to show up more authentically as yourself. And you create a loyal sense of community. Make sense? And then you can foster that community, right? You can create a Facebook group or you can show up here on a podcast because you know exactly who you're speaking to. And then you can create your course from there. As you talk to more people or you coach them, you learn even more about them, even more what their struggles and challenges are, and also where they're headed, what they need to accomplish or want to accomplish. I hope all that makes sense, but it just gives us a lot of freedom. Instead of trying to figure it all out in the beginning, we just get overwhelmed and we don't make progress. We get stuck. So really focus on who you're trying to help. To make this more of a real life application, let's use me as an example. I am definitely multi-passionate. I have a lot of interests and passions, and I'm 60 years old. I've experienced a whole lot of life, right? Been married for 34 years. I have 4 adult children, 2 are married. I've been an entrepreneur. I've stayed home full time. I wrote a book. I've started a podcast. I've helped my mom start a business. So I've done a lot of things in my life, and I bring a lot to the table just from my experience, and so do you. What is my passion? My passion is helping new female entrepreneurs start their business and empowering them to be confident when speaking on camera so that they can create an impact and have greater income. Now, if I really think about it, I really love helping midlife women who are stepping into this second season of life, those who might feel like it's too late or they feel overwhelmed about where to start, or they feel like they're not qualified, because I really relate to that. And I've stepped beyond that. I've learned tools along the way. So my passion is both entrepreneurship and communication and speaking with confidence. That's a powerful asset to have, and it's a powerful combination. I understand the challenges of starting a business at midlife, especially, and I want to equip women with the tools to succeed, to step forward beyond their fear, their doubt, their limitations, as I shared previously. I also understand that it's important to be confident when speaking on video or speaking behind a microphone or showing up on a Zoom or talking to a client, right? Because that helps us have a successful impact as an entrepreneur. And that is actually a learned skill. None of us are really just born with that. We learn to do that. And the repetition, doing it over and over and over, having the courage to actually show up and do it, is what builds our confidence. So let's go a little bit deeper with this. My who is new female entrepreneurs, new or aspiring female entrepreneurs. And I love helping midlife female entrepreneurs because I understand, like I just shared, all their strengths and their aspirations, their challenges, and what holds them back, those limiting thoughts. Then I also understand helping women with speaking. I've done it. And as I've grown and found my voice, I've learned how to show up on camera, to be fun, to use voice inflection, what to wear, what to do, where to stand, right? What to do with your hands, all those things. And then also addressing the fear, because speaking is still the number one fear that most people have. And then I help give them the confidence to show up and do it. And the way we do that is by learning tools that will empower us to actually do it. So as I thought about who I'm helping, then that led to how I can help. And the how is my coaching program. I offer one-on-one personalized coaching for more in-depth guidance to help you grow your business, to help you get started and get really clear on that. In addition to that, if you're a little bit further down the road and you just need some confidence to speak on camera with confidence, I have a 6-week course that I have called Speak, and that empowers you and gives you tools to show up and speak on camera as well as on a podcast. And as a bonus, I offer how to start a podcast. I also have a book that I wrote that empowers women to step forward as they navigate life transitions and try to figure out what's next. And then I also have an online community called Female Entrepreneurs Step Forward, and that fosters relationships, connection, knowledge, and sharing among peers and help aspiring female entrepreneurs step forward with their business and gain the confidence to actually do it. So that became the how. That's how I implement who I'm helping. Does that make sense? Just break it down and make it really simple. And the most important thing is that you start. You start by figuring out who you're helping. When you're first starting, that's really the only question you need to answer. Start there, because from there, that leads to the how, and then the what. The what becomes your toolbox. What resources will you offer to the person you're trying to help? For me, I offer different knowledge that I have about business, about starting as an entrepreneur, and how to speak with confidence. I talk about how you connect with your ideal audience when you're speaking on video, when you're doing a podcast, the difference between short form content, long form content, what's best, how to write, understanding search engine optimization. All those things really matter as you're trying to create an online business and how you connect with your ideal person. So I'm offering you very specific tools, or the right tools that will help you get launched and empower you along your entrepreneurial journey and equip you with confidence to speak. And once I've done that, then I can go back into my toolbox and see what other tools are in there. Because initially, you don't want to give someone all the tools in your toolbox, because that would be overwhelming. You want to give very specific tools that will help someone get started. Then, as they progress, they may need more tools. So you go back into your toolbox and pull out other things that will help them in a little bit broader landscape. So you might hold a masterclass or a workshop on how to really have a schedule and make sure that you're doing time blocking and making time for self-care, something that so many entrepreneurs really struggle with, right? You could also hold a masterclass, like a 1-hour masterclass on how to schedule your posts so that you're not constantly looking at your phone. That could be so depleting. And there is a way to post on Facebook now as a schedule. You don't have to just post in the moment. Or maybe you hold a class on working from anywhere. And maybe that means traveling while you're working. Or maybe it's like my client and friend Kathy, who is an RV advisor. She helps people buy their first RV and get on the road safely and with confidence. And she is a full-time RVer. And a wealth of knowledge, and runs her business from her home in an RV. Pretty awesome, right? So I just say all of this to embrace who you are. There isn't a right or wrong way. That is the spirit of being an entrepreneur and being a trailblazer. It's thinking differently. It's thinking outside the box, and it's embracing your authentic self. Why try to fit in when you were meant to stand out? Celebrate your strengths. Take time to reflect on all your talents and your passions. What are you really good at? What makes you you? Being different or thinking differently doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you have a different perspective. And your unique approach might be exactly what's needed to break through barriers. Also, find your tribe. Surround yourself with people who appreciate and celebrate who you are and your individuality. Look for mentors and communities to join and be a part of. It should be a safe place where you can share your ideas and get that support from one another along your journey. And finally, remember to focus on progress, not perfection. The path is rarely straight. There will be mistakes and missteps and stumbling blocks, but use them as stepping stones. Embrace the journey, celebrate the small wins, and learn from every experience. And any setback is just a setup for you to step forward. The world needs trailblazers. Women who are unafraid to challenge the norm, to rewrite the rules, to pave the way, and be more innovative and inclusive in the future. Don't silence your voice. Embrace your inner trailblazer and inspire others to do the same. Because together we can make a difference, and we can redefine what it means to be a successful female entrepreneur, especially a midlife one. This journey of self-discovery and empowerment is not always easy, but it's worth the journey. It's a powerful journey. So keep questioning, keep creating, keep blazing your own magnificent trail, because the world awaits your unique gifts, talents, and brilliance. Step forward and radiate your light. Know that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, you are valued, and you belong. And you were not created to fit in. You were born to stand out. Until we meet again, keep stepping forward. May God truly bless you. Have an amazing day. Well, I hope this episode really blessed you today and you had a few key takeaways that you can implement in your own life and business. If so, could you take 30 seconds and leave me a review? Because it blesses me to know that this podcast is helping you And don't forget to click subscribe so that you can catch each episode. Until we meet again, may God bless you and may you continue to step forward.